So it's really just depending on your character, depending on the matchup. Like there's just, you know, you want to get that specific spacing down using your movement.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm asking these questions. I mean, obviously, like I said, I've played Guilty Gear a lot, so you know, I know why you would want to super jump or double jump. But just for a lot of the people out there, it's good for them to know these kind of things, right? Now, here's another interesting one, right? We learned that A plus B is an overhead attack. We also learned that holding down and hitting A plus C is a little hop, which lets me do overhead attacks.
Right. Now,
so
we actually didn't really talk about what the all-out attack was, to be honest.
This thing here.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
Then mash buttons.
Yeah.
Mash buttons afterwards.
Mash A or whatever.
Yeah. It's So I'll explain that. Yeah. It's really simple. So for the short hop's the easy one, where you hold down an AC. You'll short hop, but it's actually not that useful because it has a lot of landing recovery. Actually, even if you stick out a move, you'll be stuck in landing recovery for a long time. Like,
so in other words, if you do an attack that hits once, I can punish you after I block it, right?
It depends on the move a lot of the time, but it's mostly used for when you're paralyzed against kanji. Because so we'll get to that when we talk to kanji, talk about kanji. But the short hop, it's pretty good for calling out throws. If like you think they're gonna try to throw, but you can short hop over and punish it.
Gotcha.
That's the main usage in offense. Other than that, it's really more for like getting out of kanji's pressure and command throws and stuff like that.
It's kind of funny because it makes me think of Samurai Showdown 2 because everyone had the hop in that game. So
it's not similar to most other hop games, like games that have shorter jumps. It's not really like that. It's more of like a command movement. Some characters do have more useful, interesting things they can do with it. Like they can short hop and then do their air specials, for example. So some characters do have something more interesting they can do with it.
That makes sense.
But not everyone has something like that.
That's so sick. Okay, so then all-out attack?
Now, the all-out attack is a command overhead that everyone has. And it's relatively slow. It's in a 20 to 30 frame startup. So
you know what? It makes me think, again, if you're a Guilty Gear player, it makes me think of Dust.
The Dust. Yeah, that's right.
It's like
now,
Dust
it is similar to Dust, but it has a couple of special properties. Now, the first one is about halfway through the startup. During that white flash, you have super armor. So if you think that they're going to mash out of your block string, you can do the overhead, and it'll pretty much beat most like normal mash cleanly, and it will even beat some DPs.
Now, how many hits can it absorb?
I believe it's actually indefinite so long as you're within the super armor frames. Try it again. I'll try to do the corkscrew attack. I'll try again.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, see, the corkscrew is actually fast enough to beat it.
1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, so it beat all of it.
Okay. Yeah, it did.
So, and then it'll come out and then, bop them. If you hit them in the air, they get stuck in this, this is completely, soft knockdown, is what people would call it. And it's a free combo for most characters.
Gotcha.
If you hit them on the ground, it causes this spin-out animation, and then you can follow it up by pressing A or B again. Now, this is, kind of a difficult concept here, because the more you mash A and B, the more damage you deal, and the better property you get at the end of the actual move itself. So I'll explain this as we go. So first, go ahead and hit AB, and then mash AB as much as you can.
Well, I just want to see something. So if I tap it once, I dash forward and do 6 hits like that. If I tap B, it's the same thing, right?
Pretty much.
So in other words, I have to mash.
So then, once you get to so then you get more damage to start. Once you get to a certain part of that animation, you can press C or D, and it gives you a specific follow-up to it. So I'll go ahead and show it to you.
Ooh, okay, wait, let me try it.
Go ahead and try it.
What? Okay, there's a lot of smoke there too.
As soon as you see the hit counter get to about 15 or 16, do it.
Bam!
Yeah, so then the C1 sends them flying as if it...
Block 10 first.
Yeah.
Don't do the fatal yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, if you don't get the maximum amount, you get the follow-up is not as good. If you get the full follow-up...
So if I just do this, then that's all I get, right?
You can also not mash enough and then do the follow-up, and it'll only give you 9 hits before launching.
Okay.
It also doesn't cause that property you may have seen called the fatal counter. And the fatal counter we'll probably explain a little later, but it gives you better combos.
Okay.
So you want to get them as much as you can.
Now, does C or D do anything different?
Yes. The D1 gives you a wall slamming attack. So if you're near the corner, go ahead and hit select and hold right.
Oh, you can do that?
Just like that.
I like
like
it.
Marvel. Okay.
So,
okay. Oh, wait.
But this corners yourself, so you can do mid-screen combos, basically.
That's actually pretty cool.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So in other words, if I do this and mash,
then press D, it wall slams me there. You can do a corner specific.
What if I do it this way?
It'll just send me flying, but I won't slam any walls.
Okay.
So that's like a corner specific combo.
I didn't do it.
You didn't get it all the way, so it didn't stick me either.
Gotcha.
Oh,
Okay.
For those of us who like already want to be like the best, the optimal way to input this is by after the initial input it 6 times and then do the follow, basically.
Oh, really?
That's the optimal number of inputs, basically. And then you'll always get the fatal.
Okay, I'll do that.
Oh, wait. So you'll get a fatal counter if you do it right.
It's just basically a number of inputs, and we've discovered that it's 12 inputs.
Okay, hang on. Let me try one thing really quick.
Yeah, you still have to time the ender.
Oh, faster.
It is.
Oh no, you have to wait till you land. I think.
You have to wait till you actually go inside of the smoke, and then you start inputting it. Yeah, because you can't see the actual input counter there, it's not as helpful for how many inputs you're
So did I get a fatal counter
Yes, you
there?
did.
Oh,
as soon as you do it, it says fatal counter.
Okay, gotcha. So no matter what, as long as I get the 16 hits, the last one is a fatal counter.
Exactly.
Okay, so
as a mix-up, like I said, it does beat people mashing. It is an overhead, but however, it's unsafe on block. They're all unsafe on block. So yeah.
Okay.
Like
gotcha.
Oops. Yeah, they're also air blockable. So
Right. Okay.
in general, it is a universal mix-up everyone has. Everyone has a sweep and an overhead. So everyone does get that 50-50, but you are taking a risk by you're using this move that's unbeatable by mashing. So obviously the answer is to block.
Right.
So you do block.
Is it throwable?
Well,
Some are throwable, some are not.
Like it doesn't look like Teddy's is probably throwable because it goes in the air.
Right.
Yeah.
So can I air throw you out of it though?
That's a good question. We haven't actually tested that.
Try it. Let's try it.
Yeah! New stuff, right?
There you go. Okay, so here's a question. If you block my sweep, my universal sweep, how punishable are these?
Now, it depends on character. Some characters have really unsafe sweeps, but a lot of them are special cancelable anyway.
Oh,
So,
really?
Yes. So you can actually sweep and then do Zeo or something like that.
Okay.
So for the most part, the mix-up in general is you take a risk by doing a high, and you stay safe by doing lows, basically. And then you force your opponent to react to overheads. That's the basic mix-up of the game.
Gotcha.
Now, we did mention a little earlier, which is the basic throw mix-up, which is that in this game, like the throw break window is relatively long for a fighting game. Most people would say, but there's something really specific about it is that there's no throw OSing at all. So you can't like create some kind of input that'll give you something safe or let you mash out of something.
Right.
So, for example, CD is throw. If I crouch and input it, I will still throw, no matter what. So basically, the idea of frame traps versus throws is relatively strong in this game because you can't input a throw option select.
Right,
you will always throw.
I was playing Shadow Labyrinth yesterday, and I did quarter circle back CD, and I got a throw or this thing.
The Mega Technologica, I forgot what that move is called, but you basically can't OS it into something safe.
Okay.
So the whole idea of frame traps, so you could super it perhaps, but then, that's not safe either.
Gotcha.
So the general idea is you can call out throws very strongly in this game. One of the major Teddy options, for example, is that you walk towards people, it's like, oh, he's going to throw me. So as soon as you see that, as soon as you, create that timing gap, you backstep out of their throw, they'll whiff a throw, and then you can punish that throw with.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's like, and you can punish it. So that's, a lot of characters have something like
throw whiffs are pretty long in this game,
they
too.
are. If you jump out of a throw, it's difficult to punish because you go so high, but that's one thing show pops are good for. Exactly. So a lot of people can call out throws and punish them.
Gotcha.
So the whole idea...
So in other words, you can walk up to him and go, oh, look at that. I can run forward, hold down forward, and hop.
You keep the momentum.
Yeah.
So you can keep the momentum, and then you can also jump over people.
So I can go, woohoo!
Yeah, exactly. Then you could also turn around and attack from the other side.
Right. Oh, okay, so I can go.
Exactly. If you had a move that was fast enough. There is a character that specializes in that specifically and has a move, a special thing that he does a lot.
Okay.
Akihiko. But his jump is also short, so it's kind of confusing.
Okay.
Now, we kind of glossed over something completely in this whole time because you said that you can air block this move.
Right.
This game, like Guilty Gear, like Blaze Blue, you cannot air block 100% of the attacks.
That's right.
Right?
Now,
that's right.
In this specific game, it's a little bit different from both Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue, but you can air block almost every attack except for specifically air unblockable ones.
Oh, really?
So,
because in Guilty Gear, it was like the alpha games. If you were standing on the ground, you could not air block them, and so that's how Guilty Gear mostly worked.
That's how it evolved, and eventually there was faultless defense, etc., etc.
Right,
but in this game, like jump in the air, for example, you can block any of my A attacks.
Oh, okay.
But you can't block my B, and it just gives you this yellow exclamation mark, and there's really nothing you can do about this.
It's just designed as a not okay.
Straight up here. The other thing is that if you're in block stun, you can block any attack. So jump in the air, you can block that now that you're in block stun.
Okay.
So you can't force unblockables like this.
Right.
You can't use the A to quickly hit them and then unblockable them. Gotcha.
So but to compensate for the fact that most moves are air blockable, jump startup you can't block. For example, you can't block at all during jump startup.
Oh, so
it's actually very long.
I can't hold chicken block. In other words,
the other thing also on top of the fact that so let's get technical and say when you tap up. You can't block for the jump startup, which is 3 frames.
You'll hold up back.
Well, start attacking me and I'll hold up back. Oh, yeah.
But then, no, on top of that, once you get into the air, you can't block for an additional 5 frames. So as soon as you hit up back...
Just hold up back.
As soon as you hit up back, you can't block for 8 frames total, pretty much.
Okay.
So there's actually very little chicken gun in this game because of this.
Okay. So even if you saw this overhead coming and you tried to chicken block it...
I might get hit anyway, yes.
Okay, gotcha.
And the overall length of time where you can be hit by moves during your jump is actually relatively long for a fighting game of this type.
Right.
So, and that's a general idea. However, most of the anti-airs are really godlike strong, and then in general, like jumping backwards is not super strong, but because everyone does have reversal actions and things like that, you can still jump as a viable choice.
Okay. Cool. We didn't talk about instant blocking at all, I don't think.
Right.
Oh yeah. That's a little bit.
Yeah.
Because that's like you don't even use it initially, right? We'll get to that. Because I want to keep going with like some more movement options.
Okay.
We've been talking about all these crazy movements, turning around in the air and stuff like that. This, I'm sorry, not that move. This move.
Yes, quick escape.
How useful is this, like as a KOF roll kind of thing?
It's kind of in between. Now, first of all,
that's cute.
Yeah, it depends on the character how far you move, and frame data wise, it's not invincible in the first frame. So if you do it on wake up and they meet you, you'll get hit. 100% of the time. Now, after that though, there's a relatively long window of invincibility. So if you do miss that BD timing, they probably will get out. Most likely. And you can actually do it in block strings as well. But like I said, because it isn't invincible on the first frames, you can get hit if their block strings are good, if they meet you. But it's actually really useful. You can actually even use it for mix-ups depending on your character. If you're paralyzed by Kanji, you can also use this to, get away from him for acts.
Gotcha.
It is like an extra movement option. And it's invincible for about 20 frames, like a third of a second. And it's followed up by about 10 to 15 frames of vulnerability.
Do all the frames do all the rolls have the same frame data?
At the moment, we think they are, but we don't know for sure yet.
I mean,
we're still in
they have different
lengths, but yeah.
So they're more or less useful depending on how they are.
And now, interestingly enough, so there's nothing you can cancel. I cannot.
No, you can't
cancel. I can't.
You can't car cancel them either. Whoops, I supered on accident. So you're pretty much stuck in that animation. Now, it's a double-edged sword, obviously. If your opponent has projectiles, it's really useful, because projectiles rarely hit on the first frame. If you throw Zero at me, I can get past it, as long as I don't completely mess up the timing. And it will let me get closer. Some characters have really unsafe projectiles, so if you can call it the projectile, you can be like, oh, I'm going to roll past it, punish it.
That's pretty cool.
Aegis is a really prime example. She has that bullet spray move that sprays bullets everywhere. It's really unsafe on whiff. So if you're really good, you can call it out by quick escaping past it.
I see. That makes sense.
Okay.
And that's pretty much how I lose every tournament.
Are you an Aegis? I'm
an Aegis user.
Okay. Okay, cool. And then there was something else that just came into my head that I wanted to talk about. Okay, so we've just talked about all these movement options. I guess a good example of movement is, we talked about recovering in the air, how you could flip 4 different directions in the air, and on the ground you can only flip one direction, right? If I recover in the air, so let's say I super jump, air dash, you hit me out of the air, and then I flip, do I get my double jump or air dash
You will get your air action back, so you can go ahead and try that.
Oh, really? So in other words, I can super jump, air dash forward. Oops, I blocked.
Nice.
So I can.
Oh, I gotta recover.
Yeah, okay. Oops. So I can double jump.
You can. I believe you can double jump, or at least get back the option that you used previously.
Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, gotcha. So what happens if I double jump, and then you hit me out of the air?
Yes, the exact same thing will happen.
Okay, so I do get my double jump.
And this is primarily because there are blockable moves, so they do want you to have a chance if they set up this
Oh, yeah.
Right, that makes sense, that makes sense.
One thing I forgot to mention is that air backdashes are also invincible for a short amount of time.
Really?
Yes.
Is it the same frame data, you think, as the regular
Yes,
ground dash?
we believe it's about 5 frames.
So wait, if I jump, turn around,
and air dash towards me,
air dash towards you, do I get that invincibility
yes.
a little bit?
You do get it, but it's really short,
Right,
so it's not very practical there.
Okay.
Now, when people air dash over you, it's kind of scary because I don't know if they're still invincible or not, kind of thing.
That's kind of cool, actually, yeah.
But in general, that's how it works.
Now, before we go on to the next thing, I want to talk about really quick how to instant air dash, because we just talk about it. Not a lot of people know how to instant air dash.
Right.
And instant air dashing literally is hitting up, forward, and then the direction. Straight, right?
I believe so.
Because I know in Vampire Savior games, you could do up, forward, up, forward. That does not work in this game.
It does not. You do need the forward input. In this
You have to actually hit up, forward, and then towards.
Yes. I personally
back and back.
input it twice just in case, but we believe that the optimal input is up, forward, neutral, and then forward.
Okay.
Up, forward,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
put the stick back in.
yeah.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure that's the right way to do it.
That makes sense.
So, I mean, people rarely think about the neutral, but some people think like up, forward, and then forward. That doesn't do anything.
Oh, yeah, like they try to roll it.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
okay.
that's just,
yeah,
why we
fair
say
enough.
that.
Yeah, so it's like a double tap, but it's like dashing on the ground, but instead of tapping the same direction twice, the first one, it happens to be a jump.
Exactly.
So just dash, and the first one is a forward jump. I'm sad.
Yeah.
Nice.
You can do this out of any direction. No jump, obviously. You can jump backwards in air dash. You can jump neutral in air dash. You know, it could just alter your trajectory depending on how much, what kind of spacing you're expecting.
Hey, I have a random question. Can both characters have the negative thing on them at the same time?
Theoretically, I believe it can be replicated, but it takes like we haven't tested the camera enough, and it's I think that like if both characters are in like some kind of situation where like you both like knock each other off screen or something, and then you're both trying to catch each other, like it could happen theoretically, but we rarely see that in real matches.
Right. Okay, so one thing. Okay, so we've gone through a lot of movement options here. There's a lot of other things like instant guarding, bursts, and all this stuff like that. But you know, the funny thing we haven't really talked about enough is really just attacking the buttons, right?
Exactly.
So we have weak attack, strong attack, weak persona attack, and strong attack, or in better terms, A, B, C, and D. Right.
Now, you'll notice that each of those moves did something super different, and that's part of the accessibility of this game. Actually, is that all your normals do something really unique in general. So, even though there are not very many buttons and there are not even directional normals, sometimes each character has a ton of really unique kind of spacing neutral tools, and actually keeps the games fresh, even though. Particularly compared to like maybe Street Fighter, which has like close normals, far normals, crouching normals, directional normals. Even though it's just condensed down to these are the useful like zoning tools. These are the useful offensive.
Oh,
tools,
are there are no command normals? There are no.
It depends on the character. It depends on the character, but there are definitely no close normals. There are some characters do have command normals.
Okay.
But they're more of a rarity, and universally there are not command normals.
Okay.
Like for example, in Blaze Blue or Guilty Gear. Every character has specific command normals.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
like Blaze Blue, everyone has their like sweep, which is down, forward, C, and everyone has the forward normals.
And
In this
Guilty
game,
Gear, everyone has towards punch.
Right.
Or
exactly.
the anti-air.
But that's not the case in this game.
Okay. Now, here's the interesting thing here. So we talked about the auto combos, AAA, right? And if I do it one more time, it's a special move. One more time, you get a super, right? Now, if I choose not to do an auto combo, apparently I can chain A into B, right? I can keep. Can I do like?
Okay, now there's something called an A limit, which is you're limited depending on the character, obviously. Like some characters have specific limits, but most characters can only do 3 A's total, pretty much.
So
yeah,
that's it.
That's
Okay.
it. You can also do like, for example, 1 low, 1 standing, 1 low, 2 lows, 1 standing, for example.
Okay.
But then that's generally what we call the A limit, and it's interesting because it also corresponds to auto combos because most auto combos are 3 A's also.
Right. Oh, okay. Now can I do A, and then auto combo? Okay, I can. Okay.
That's cool.
And, like,
So I can go,
you can also modify your auto combos to do something else as well. So
what?
Yes.
What do you mean? What do you
So
mean?
for example, Teddy, for example, his auto combo looks like this normally, right?
Right.
So you can actually do a different combo here. You can do A, do a crouching move, and then do an air combo instead. So you can.
Okay.
Oh,
so
I see.
basically, you're chaining out of your auto combo into the B attack.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what people do though they call it auto combo, it's actually kind of a little bit of a misnomer. You can actually think of it more like, once it gets to the specials, yes, that's the auto combo, but the initial part is just like all of your different standing A animations.
Okay. Right. Now, but the interesting thing is the third one can't be chained, it looks like.
It depends on the character, but some of them have different cancels. Like, for example, Aegis' third hitter for auto combo is like this jumping drop kick. But hers can be jump canceled. So it's really different depending on the character.
So now here's another question here. Jump cancel moves. Gosh, there's so many properties. Anyways, so I did stand B into crouching B. Can I do crouching B into stand B? Yes.
Yes. Depends on the character, but a lot of the time, yes.
But you have basically a limit of 2 as well. Right?
Characters generally get only 1 of each normal per chain. Okay. So as long as you chain the normals together, you'll only get 1 each.
So let's just theorize here. So I found out I can do this into auto combo, right?
Right.
I also noticed that you can chain the second hit of an auto combo into a C, right? So I can do like that, right? So technically I should be able to do 1, 2, 3 auto combo, 2 hits into a crouch C into a stand C, right?
Theoretically, yes.
Or that way, right?
Those are actually B's, but we know what you mean.
B, sorry, B. My bad. Okay, so there's just kind of, they give you a lot of freedom in the way that you can chain. They just put in limiters in there.
Exactly.
Okay.
The limiters are relatively, they're relative, like, you can only use 1. That's just general rule of thumb.
Try crouch B, stand C, stand B.
Crouch.
Yeah, you can also chain into your persona moves as well.
Right. Okay. So, yeah, I wanted to get into that because that actually is interesting because persona moves behave more like assists in Marvel, right?
Halfway,
in a way, like half.
Depends on the character, right?
Yes, it really depends on the character.
Okay.
The general rule of thumb is your C normal is kind of like a normal, and then the D move is some kind of really weird thing. So, for example, Kuma, he'll throw an item.
Okay.
Teddy will throw an item. For Narukami, Yu Narukami, his D will summon his buddy out, and then you can kind of do delayed special things with them. So you can just think of the D as kind of like the special thing your persona can do, and the C is like your persona.
Okay, but here's the interesting thing, right? So there's my D right there. So here's the interesting thing that I found out just when I was messing with it a little earlier is if I hit like A into B, I recover fast enough that I can just. Technically, I'm not chaining, right? That's kind of a, like, I'm just calling out my persona.
That may be a chain. It really depends on chain.
Oh, it is a special chain. Oh, okay.
Some characters can go backwards, and, there's a lot of different cancels in this game. But some characters do have, like, you can do things at the same time as you.
Okay, so it's not necessarily like calling an assist because that's just a special chain.
Can anybody chain into D?
Some characters can, yes.
Okay.
For example,
he can.
Teddy, like, he can definitely change to D. Teddy, he can change to D also, but it's an item throw, so it's not like a normal.
Right.
Well, here's another question. What did I just do to myself?
You're enraged, so you can't block anymore, but you do more damage.
I'm Makoto. I just activated Tandem Renki there. Okay, so here's a question. I obviously can chain A into C. Can I chain B into C?
It depends on the character, but a lot of them can.
Okay, so can I do B, C, B? Ooh, no,
if you used up the standing B already, because you only get 1, you can't. But if you did like crouching B into standing C and then back into B, you can.
Oh, but I can do that into crouching.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
It's really just dependent on character, but a lot of the times, usually you can. And if you can't, you just be like, well, I can't do that one there.
Okay, so in other words, here's a better way to think of it then, because I was saying that they give you this limit on how many Bs you can use. It's just literally you can use the B attack you can use. It seems like, at least for you, that you can only use both of those attacks once in a chain.
Right.
So I can go that, or I can go, that, or if I go, stuff like that. Okay.
Lots of characters have little special rules to help, keep Rushdown more interesting, but that's just definitely one of the basic rules of them.
Okay.
Yu, of course, has like basically one of everything, like I said. So he does have those reverse cancels, and we will eventually talk about jump cancels and etc. etc. But
now, when I call a persona out, do the personas have chains themselves?
They can, yes. Now you can do a standing one into a crouching one.
Oh wow. Yeah. Okay, can I? Oh, so I can do a crouching persona. Okay, so crouching persona does a different attack as well.
Exactly. And some of them aren't chainable at all, but some of them are.
Gotcha.
Or
so do which one?
Crouch and unblock. Stand C, crouch C.
fancy crouching. Yeah.
Block,
You're just saying.
Can you crouch but not block?
Oh, okay.
There are certain combos where you can only.
This is a specific. Hit stun is specific to whether you're standing or crouching, is what he's explaining.
Okay.
And
Okay.
like when we start getting more into combos and advanced offensive stuff, like hit confirming is a thing of three things, which is positioning, like position from the corner, whether your opponent is standing or crouching, or whether your opponent is close or far. So it's actually like hit confirming is not that easy as just like mash A or whatever.
Right.
Like mash A will give you something to work with if you don't know what you're doing. But in general, a lot of characters have standing and crouching combos, and corner combos, standing combos, far combos, close combos.
Okay.
So that's just what we're trying to illustrate there. His standing C will combo into his crouching C if the opponent is crouching.
Right.
So that's one of the like two things about offense that change.
So in other words,
reward.
if I hit you with like, and I see you're crouching, then I can go into that. So I can go like this, and if you're crouching, then I can do like that.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Okay.
But if I see you're standing, then I wouldn't do that. Then I would
You'd probably
change it
do
to
that.
B
You'd probably
or something
chain B
like
and
that.
slide or something.
Yeah, of course with Teddy, it's so hard to tell if he's standing or crouching.
You have to look at his face. That's what I tend to do.
His face?
Yeah.
Face is different?
Yeah. It makes us like something in my face kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
okay,
the actual hits.
okay.
Yeah, I see. Oh, yeah.
So hold crouch, just.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Good call.
You just have to pay attention to the animation. It is something that comes with time, and I do recommend that most players skip crouching confirms until they're really comfortable with close, far, corner, not corner.
So in general, when you get hit while you're crouching, you reel longer.
Yes.
Okay.
I believe it's 2 frames long.
Oh, wow.
So-
Okay.
It's like the threshold between like really specific things in this game. 2 frames is like a really big thing in this game.
Do I also even have like air persona chains and stuff like that? Why is that not hitting?
It doesn't really hit stand. That's more of a combo tool or like an air to air.
Okay.
But he has this like it makes his persona do a dive kick.
Ooh, wow. Okay, so that my jumping D, he just floats there. So I can use that to get in, basically, right? If I jump air dash like this.
Theoretically, it does come out kind of slow, so you do have to cover for him.
Right.
But in general, like theoretically, if he's off screen, hard to get to, or even behind me, for example.
Now I did notice if I hit D and then I hit D again, he does a follow-up attack.
Some like that. Interesting about his follow-up is independent from himself, so that one's actually like an assist. Oh. So for example, when you call him, you can jump and then press D again, and he'll do that.
Oh.
So some moves are like assists, but some are not. For example,
what are you smiling about?
Don't worry about it.
What are you smiling about, dude?
Don't worry about it.
but mine doesn't do that because I'm throwing items. So it really just depends on the character.
Right.
Can we take a break real fast?
Oh, okay.
All right.
So
Let's do that.
okay.
Sure, it's probably a good idea.
Yeah, let me take care of this again. Sorry.
Can I drink water now?
No.
Oh.
All right, everybody, welcome back to First Attack. We are in the midst of a Persona 4, just like
Hours.
hours. let's just. I can't think of the word. Never mind. Let's go.
We'll be doing
Persona
it for a
4.
while.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. So here we go. Persona 4.
Right.
And we've just talked about a lot of different things about the different attacks. I noticed I can actually chain the C into the D, for example. But let's talk about resources.
Right. So now the major resource, obviously, health. When you start dying, like when you run out of health, you lose.
Right.
So that's a really basic one. When you get to 35%, your health becomes orange, and you're in awakening state.
Okay.
And now when you're in this awakening state, your maximum meter goes up by 50.
Right.
You get access to another super, which is more or less useful depending on your character. And you also get like a 33% defense boost. So, yeah. So it gives you like a ton of things, and it's super useful.
Right.
The trade-off is that it only occurs when you return back to neutral state. So you can be comboed and killed before you even get to it.
Right.
Okay.
So that's one of the downsides, obviously. But that's the basic resource. That's what life does.
So even the defense boost doesn't apply unless you're
No, it does not.
unless you've already flipped out.
Yes, basically.
Okay.
So a lot of the times, like top level play, they'll calculate like you know how Street Fighter they calculate stun. So the next hit's gonna stun them.
That makes
So
sense.
then they do the exact same thing. The next combo is gonna kill them. They were not gonna reach awakening.
Right.
That's the basic idea.
What's the life total that awakening starts at?
35%, I believe. It's about where like like a little bit farther than where the persona cards are.
Okay.
So yeah, so about there.
Right.
So you can actually set it up. You hit start and go to basic. Yes, and go to max like HP. Like put it at 35, and then you can put mine at 36.
Probably could have wrapped around and did it the other way.
There's some button that increases it by 10. So yeah, you're in Awakening and I'm not.
Look at
I like
that.
it.
Now you're okay.
I like it.
Okay,
So,
gotcha.
for example, if you hit me, like, at 36%, that's easily the most dangerous place to be. Because
Right.
that's the place where you can be killed without
That makes
getting the
sense.
defense boost
Has
at all.
anybody yet started playing the game where they dropped a combo on purpose
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
right before they get to Awakening?
How about
Yes.
this? Can you, if you have 36%, can you purposely do your BD move?
Yes, you can.
To
You can
lose life.
You can make yourself lose life just to
How do you like
reach
that?
Awakening.
Wait. But it's recoverable health. Though,
Exactly.
right?
It does not matter.
So, in
So
other words, if I'm at 36 here like this, and
you have
I
to reset first.
Yeah, reset.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
you're
So
already-
if I'm like this and I do this,
You go into it. And technically, if you succeed at doing this, you'll have more health because that health you'll get back kind of thing.
Right.
But
So technically, then also I could even like do a super cancel if I felt
Yes,
like
exactly.
it, just to get myself into that
Right.
mode.
yes. Now, some characters are really notorious for this because their DPs are not very unsafe.
So wait, so I can do something like this just to get myself. Oops, I don't have any super meter right now. So if I do something like this, I can go. Whoops, block this. And now I'm in Awakening mode because I
Exactly.
did a super cancel. Okay.
Now, for just as an aside, those two, are they entirely recoverable life that you lose, or do you lose like an actual number of life?
It's hard to tell because we're in training mode, and I believe it normalizes it.
Uh-huh.
But I believe it is recoverable. There is a really specific character that can force herself into Awakening from any health total, and we believe that's completely recoverable. So she has this super that when she does it,
Who's this?
it's Elizabeth.
Okay.
So as soon as she does this super, she reaches Awakening from whatever health she has, and the rest of it becomes blue. So it's like this extremely high risk position where if you get hit, you lose all that health. But if you get it all back, man, your defense is insane at that
Interesting.
point.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Well, so we have the super meter down at the bottom of the screen.
Right.
It's 4 blocks, obviously 25 points per block.
Now, meter is probably the most valuable resource in this game because it's useful for pretty much everything. Offense, defense, increasing your combo damage. For example, Narukami is a really good example of using meter for everything. So his normal standing combos are not very strong. He can't really do a lot of damage, but once you add meter to it, he can get tons of damage. Like he has this specific combo where you can't one more cancel his sliding attack, and then he can do like a really long extended air combo off it that does tons and tons of damage.
Right, okay.
So then, because you had that 50, it's basically you get access to that thing.
Right.
And then if you used it on something else, you're like, oh, well, my combo damage will suck right now because I don't have access to 50 meter. He also has better mix-ups with at least 25 meter. His lion attack, which is fireball back C, I believe, or A. Fireball back one of the buttons. Go ahead and go to command line. Yeah. So his if you spend 25 meter to SB your move, it'll become much faster. So you EX it by using 2 of the same button.
Okay, so are all special moves EXable?
Not all of them, but a lot of them are.
Okay. Okay, so that's
So
the
that,
EX
yeah,
one.
it's
It's
much
way safer.
faster, and it depends on how it hits, but yeah,
Oh, really?
it tends to be much safer, and it has much better startup, so it's actually much better as an overhead tool.
Oh, okay. Is this one an overhead as well? Okay, so they're all overhead.
And we call them EX moves because we're used to Street Fighter, but they're actually called skill boosted SB. So if you hear that term thrown around, skill boosted, it means exactly the same thing.
Okay.
But his SB moves, for example, Narukami's are really interesting. Like his SB Zero, for example, his fireball actually causes paralysis.
Paralysis.
Yes.
huh?
So you.
Oh yeah, we haven't talked about the status elements.
So in this, it causes like a status state where I can't walk anymore.
You can't walk?
Yes.
God,
You can't
right?
jump.
Yeah. You can't walk or jump.
Holy
So
moly. Okay.
status effects we'll talk about, when we get into character specific
Right,
stuff.
right,
But like I said, it just gives different properties per move.
That's so cool.
So a lot of times they're really useful. Depending on the character, they're really useful or not
Can I
useful at
combo
all.
into that?
Yes, you can actually. After
so good.
the 2C,
Yeah.
you can combo into SB0.
So, like that, you mean?
The other button.
Oh,
the-
this one here.
that one. And then you throw the
Oh.
SB0 at it.
Gotcha. So, in other words, if you're crouching, right, and I
Yeah.
do.
So then I'll be stuck here, and then you can kind of rush me down.
Can
like
you
that.
block?
You can do
I can
some
block.
stuff, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I can still short hop or quick escape because they're
Okay,
command
okay,
moves, but I
okay.
can't normal jump, double jump, super jump.
Oh,
backdash.
that's right. That's another thing I really wanted to talk about. So, the exclamation marks,
Yeah.
which are very nice.
Yeah, those
I
are cool.
like nice because then you can tell when you get hit the wrong way. Obviously,
For sure.
so if you hold back to block and I hit you low,
Yes. Oops, I did not block. Yeah,
you see a green exclamation mark, which
That's right.
means you were blocking high and you got hit low.
That's right.
If you were blocking down and you get hit high,
it's harder to see because of the animation.
let me do this one. Oh, it's the blue exclamation mark. Yeah, there's the blue exclamation mark on the screen right there.
You can just probably just do like a jump B, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oops. Yeah, you can also do the jumping normal as well.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't block it.
Yeah, right.
So there's that. There's also if you block an air attack in the air that you can't block, it becomes yellow.
Okay.
There's also like ones for throw as well. When you throw, you get the exclamation mark that tells you to throw immediately. Some characters also have attacks that are unblockable, and it causes me to have the exclamation mark. So go ahead and put me in Awakening. Like go ahead and hit start.
Okay.
And yeah, go to Awakening and set that to. Well, you can do health too.
Yeah,
fine. So I can do this super that when I mess up the input. Just kidding. So it causes that yellow and red one, and that's a completely unblockable attack. And it causes that double red one when you get hit by it.
Oh wait, you can't do that again? Do it again?
So it gives me one, and then as soon as you get hit by it, it causes a double red.
If I'm blocking, right? Which way am I supposed to block? Which way?
It's actually just unblockable.
Right, okay. Well, I just wasn't sure which way I should hold the joystick to produce the unblockable. Okay, gotcha.
Huh.
So they're all prompts to help you understand the game, understand what's happening to you.
Dude, I wish there was that in so many.
Hey, is it possible to set up unblockables otherwise? Like, are there personas that will hit high when your character hits low?
There are characters that can do that. Like Yukiko is a very prime example. She has this move that sends her persona flying up, and it comes down as overhead, so she can rush you down and hit you with lows. But because everyone does have the reversal, you're like, oh, he's gonna do the unblockable. I'm obviously gonna DP, basically. So it's balanced out by that.
That makes sense.
And there are characters that have unblockable setups. For example, Teddy is actually a prime example. If I throw out the right item, like the red robot, this one has a lot of block stun. So if I do it at the right spacing on the screen, you'll be forced to block it as it bounces off the wall, and you won't be able to escape the rolling unblockable attack. Yeah. So there's a lot of characters with really specific setups.
That's pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it.
And we'll keep talking about meter. Like there's also something you can alpha counter in this game. So when you're blocking, you can tap forward and AB, and you'll get an attack out of block stun. Now in this particular game, it's not that strong because it's a guard point. So your opponent can react to the guard point and do something theoretically. So
or something, or?
He could DP me actually.
Oh really?
So it's actually a little bit scary to use because of this, but because it can be safe, like opponent may do an attack that he can't cancel into a DP, for example, so that you can get a free way out like that.
That makes sense.
So it has that particular trade-off.
Okay, that's cool. And oh, by the way, how much does that cost?
It costs 50. So it is also really expensive.
Okay.
So 50 is like the benchmark for like this better do something awesome.
Now, okay, so one more cancel we talked about.
Right.
Is another one, right?
Yes. It costs 50. It is, bar none, probably the most versatile thing. You can use it for offense or defense. You can even one more cancel your guard point attack. So go ahead and attack me.
Like this, yeah.
I can actually, if you one more and block it, I can actually one more and then block back too, because it is an attack.
So in other words, if I do this, then you could guard point, you can cancel.
I can theoretically, like if he's gonna DP, I better cancel also.
So let's try that. Let's see if we can do that.
But because my attack didn't hit you, because you DP'd me out of it, I couldn't cancel.
Gotcha. Okay. But basically, I mean, if you're familiar with Guilty Gear, it's just a Roman cancel, so you can use it if I'm in the middle of a move and I'm about to get punished, then I can Roman cancel and save myself.
The really basic way to use it is when you use your unsafe overhead, Roman cancel that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because everyone has the overhead, but it's pretty unsafe, so, that's
now,
really basic.
Here's another thing, too. Obviously, the Roman cancel is very useful for extending combos and stuff like that as well, right? So, shoot, I just lost my question. It was a Guilty Gear related thing, but anyways, let's just keep going.
Okay. Well, you can't do it on whiff, which is one thing we illustrated, which is like, if I whiff a move, I can't one more cancel it.
Right.
You actually can't one more cancel a lot of other moves too, like the reversal action cannot be one more canceled. So there's a couple specific rules there, but a lot of other moves are, and they're really versatile.
So there is, I remembered my question now, I forgot it again.
That's awesome.
Okay, well, here's, there's no false Roman cancels in this game.
There are not. Like I said, you can't do it on whiff, therefore there are no false Roman cancels.
It's actually one of the things I liked the least about Guilty Gear was false Roman cancels. So
who knows what the real pronunciation is?
I know. I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be force Roman cancel, then got mangled to false Roman cancel.
Who knows?
Whatever. Okay. And then shoot, what the heck was my question? I'm so angry right now because I remembered it and then I forgot it
Well,
again.
one important thing about the one more cancel is that even if a move is multi-hit and only one of the hits hit, you can still one more cancel it.
Okay.
So, for example, you has this slide. So let's say in some kind of mythical universe, only the first hit and the rest of them miss somehow, you could still one more cancel it.
Oh, so as long as one hit connects.
Yes.
Okay, I remember my question. When you one more cancel, you instantly neutral.
Yes, instantly
neutral. So in other
neutral.
words, if I get it out, I can 100% block any attack that
That's
comes
right.
at me.
Okay.
There is one specific thing that's really a really important specific rule, especially for kanji players, which is that if you understand the concept of hit stop, which is that particular time in the game where the engine is like, you're being hit, nothing else is occurring. Right? You cannot, if you input a a one more cancel during hit stop, it will not come out, right? Because nothing can happen during hit stop.
Like that frozen part. You
That
mean?
frozen part of the frame data. Now, there are some really specific moves that this matters for, but neither Narukami or Teddy have them, so it's difficult to illustrate. But that's just one tidbit that advanced players may care about. So
well, I guess we'll talk about that when we get to those characters.
that's right.
Okay. So so far meters I can do EX moves or SB moves, right? I can do one more cancels. How much meter does a super take up?
50, 50.
Okay, so it just takes up 50. Okay.
Is there anything that's 100?
Instant kills are 100.
Oh, can we talk about instant kills?
That's right. So at the top of the screen, you're seeing the portraits are flashing. And instant kills are basically these really flashy supers that can do 100% of your opponent's health. And they're really situational because they're bad on block. They have a lot of invincibility, but they have really long startup. But they also cost 100 meters, so they're really expensive. So in general, you mostly use them to humiliate your opponents, or otherwise call them out completely. So for example, like if I do my instant kill and you like block it, you could instant kill me out of it, for example.
How do you do the instant?
It is just down, 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 and then C plus D. And it gives you this like long animation of like, you're dead, basically. And this will do 100% of your health pretty much no matter
Is it?
what.
Can you use it whenever you have 100?
Yes,
SP?
you can use it whenever you have 100 SP as long as this round wins you the entire match. So, because it makes no sense for you to instant kill your opponent and for them to come back next round.
So in other words, if you don't have one victory at least, you cannot use it.
Well, if
one
it's,
round.
If it's best 3 out of 5,
Right.
you need to have
It's just whatever.
okay.
Whatever
whichever
match
one is
point
the
is-
deciding one.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can use it whenever you have 100 meter. So yeah, because they're all so bad on block, like it can be like you can instant kill someone out of their instant kill just to humiliate them for trying it.
Just go up and do it, James.
Yeah.
Just want to see what it looks like.
Who's gonna win?
Yeah. So his has more invincibility, so mine lost. And a lot of them are like kind of useful punishers for really, really long things.
Oh yeah.
But even DPs don't last long enough to be instant killed. Usually when you would call it out is because reversal supers cannot be one more cancelled. They have to be super cancelled. So because you read it, he has 100 meter, so he can DP, super cancel it, then one more cancel to be safe.
Right.
I'm going to call out all those things by instant killing it. Basically, that's exactly how it is. So it's a really big call out. It's not very useful as a whole, but when you do get it, you become a boss.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
There used to be a couple of cheap setups that got patched out. I guess used to be able to combo into hers, so it was obviously broken. So she would be like, well, I'm losing, but I just won. Right? And Akihiko's used to be inescapable if you were paralyzed. Or nigh inescapable, because his is like, he summons like a globe, and the globe sucks you in,
like
but if you're paralyzed, you can't walk.
Right.
So you're just basically, well, I'm gonna get sucked into this orb and I'm dead. So they patched it and now they're escapable. Akihiko's is still hard to escape if you don't know how to deal with it.
Okay.
But you know, they have been patched so that they're fair.
Okay.
So
But they did recently like find one that you could combo into again. But you know, we'll talk about that some other time. Shadow Labrys's. Yes. She can you know how that move she goes like roars at you and you get launched to the top of the screen?
That's awesome. Yeah.
She can turn on her instant kill and then like the couple frames before you hit the ground, she can actually grab you. Because she can grab people out of the air with that move. So you can be insta-killed in a combo by her. And I just recently discovered, so something to think about.
So with all this meter stuff, when I go into what's the mode where you gain the extra meter? Awakening. So technically, with Awakening, if I have a full bar, I could do a super, one more cancel into super. Or
yes, exactly.
Like
you
that,
could do
right?
whatever you want, whatever your heart desires,
okay.
pretty much.
Cool.
And a lot of the times, meter is like really good for increasing damage. It's probably the primary usage of this game, which is that when you start the round, you have like no meter.
Right.
So the idea is you want to build meter so you could do more damage and have more options. So then that's how this footsie game gets in it. What's my risk reward at this spacing? How can I get more meter? How can I do more damage with the meter? That's the basic idea of it.
Okay.
Now,
let me look at the old questions list over here. Oh, you know what? Can we talk about like how the combo engine works for a little bit?
Well, let's finish the one more resource thing that I wanted to talk about.
So,
which is the Persona cards.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about that in burst. Persona cards really depend on character, but they're a really useful resource in a lot of different ways. For example, you get access to all these different moves. For example, like when you call your persona out, it is vulnerable. So go ahead and press D. I can hit your persona and you'll lose a card.
Okay.
Now, for some characters, that sucks because your persona moves are your best moves. And if you lose all of your cards, you won't be able to use those moves anymore until they come back. So go ahead and do it one more time. Now you can't call your persona moves at all, and you're in a state called persona break. For some characters, this really blows because their moves are their best moves, and you even lose a lot of your special moves in doing this as well. For example, and then once it recovers slowly as soon as your persona broken, and once it comes back, you get them all back.
And I can't burst at all?
You can't burst at all either. So you lose a lot of your persona-specific actions. So bursting, which is one of them, a lot of your specials like Zio, you can't. A lot of supers will no longer work as well.
Well, here's a question: it hit me one time there. Okay, does that card ever recover?
It will never come back until you get persona.
Oh wow!
Really?
Yeah. So it's a really vital resource that you have to manage very carefully.
Interesting.
And for some characters, the risk reward game is based entirely upon persona cards. Like, for example, Elizabeth, if she's out of Persona, she has no special attacks.
Right.
And then, but then, for some other characters, it doesn't even matter. Like, Akihiko rarely uses Persona for anything. He's more of like that punching, rush down guy.
Okay, cool.
So his Persona doesn't do much at all for him. Okay. But for some other characters, their risk reward expands towards the Persona cards based on that resource.
Does it change anything else? I mean, throw, like anything
You
else?
can still throw.
Now, is there any character where, like, if they're down to one Persona card, it changes something or anything like that, or is it always the same?
It's always the same. Okay. It's just how much you have left. Now, obviously, they'll change the way you play because, like, well, I only have one left. If I lose it, I can't burst, and I might die to the next combo, etc., etc. So it causes that kind of mind game. So, for example, like with Elizabeth, very prime example, she has low health, very reliant on Persona. If you have only one card left, it's like, am I going to use this on a mix-up? What if it gets blocked, right? You just enter that Yomi game where I could die if this gets blocked, basically.
Okay.
So that's how the Persona bar works for most of all.
Everybody have the same amount of Persona cards?
Yes, everyone has 4.
Okay.
And some are more vulnerable or not. Basically, like this one's usually behind me, so it's not very vulnerable. Sometimes the Persona is actually invincible to being hit as well. So Kanji is a big example where he flies up and grabs you. Like that's not hittable for a lot of that animation.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah. So even though you know it's there, like you can't hit it till a specific amount of time. Also, if you get hit out of certain attacks that require Persona, you can also lose a card. So if you hit me while I'm throwing an item out, I can still lose a card, depending on when I get it. And it's usually during the initial startup frames. So it's really character dependent, obviously, but yeah, it creates a risk reward depending on what kind of character you have.
Okay,
so
you want to talk about burst?
We'll talk about burst lastly. Now, burst is the final resource for a lot of reasons because it either A, can create huge momentum swings that either win you the round, B, prevent you from instantly losing, or C, give you a reversal, which can also cause a turnaround. So did you talk about the basic kinds of bursts?
Yeah, we did. So we have gold burst.
Right. They call it max burst, I think, in this game, or something like that. But it gives you full meter. So you can't see that yet, but full meter obviously is really useful because meter, like we had seen before, is good for offense, defense, increasing damage, etc.
No, it isn't that it gives you 100, right? It just gives you full.
It gives you full.
So in case you have awakening,
you get 150. That's exactly right. Okay. So you can easily stage a comeback by landing a max burst. If you land a max burst, then your combo potential goes way up. You get all these reversals, etc., etc. Right. It's useful on wake up. So say you knock me down. I can wake up max burst through someone's attack, and it's actually even pretty safe on block, so it's not very punishable.
Right. I was gonna ask about that,
yeah. Max burst, if I'm not mistaken, is like Guilty Gear Gold burst. It's like invincible on the way up, on the way down. Can't be punished.
It's not punishable.
It can be punished if you DP me out of it or call me out of it, basically. So Kanji is a really primary example. If you try to max burst, and he's like, well, I know he's going to max, so I'm just going to react and DP him, his DP will beat it cleanly and paralyze him again.
Okay, does it cause
So wait,
block stun?
can I do this to your gold burst?
If you time it really well. So, yeah, go ahead and try it. Yeah, so you can actually hit me out of it as soon as the invincibility wears off.
Can you alpha counter it?
Theoretically, but there's no real reason to.
No. I mean, it doesn't like allow you to punish better? Oh,
No,
okay.
it does not really let you punish at all. It causes actually a pretty big amount of block stun, but it can be punished by DPs as soon as the invincibility wears off.
Okay.
Which is on the way down. So if you max burst at the top of the screen, it's totally punishable.
Oh, do you not get your air actions back?
You do not.
Okay.
Burst, well, basically you're going to recover all the way down, no matter what kind of burst it is. It's very important to know. And it's really easy to burst badly in this game, as you will discover when you play it as a beginner. So it is something to watch out for.
Sure.
That's the max burst. It's really for like one-shot momentum changes. Now, it doesn't cost your full burst gauge because it's not. I guess the developers didn't think it was as good as the other two bursts in terms of what it can do. So it lets you recover your burst slightly faster, but it does give you really specific kind of.
And you recover burst just like super meter, just through actions and stuff like that.
Not quite. It's only via time and via the auto combo. The third hit of the auto combo recovers some of your burst, and over time your burst recovers also. I believe also you get a bonus to how fast it recovers when you're in awakening as well. That's something I neglected to mention, but we had no idea what they were.
So now there's also that burst.
The one more burst. Now the one more burst is like a cross between the max burst and a one more cancel. As soon as you hit me with it, it launches me up, and you can pretty much have a field day with whatever. And it lets you cancel things that aren't normally cancelable very easily. And also gives your moves like special properties. For example, like your slide, it's kind of difficult to combo off of. Or like, let's say the first hit of the slide leaves me on the ground. So say if you one more cancel it, you would do a ground combo if you one more cancel on the first hit. Right? But if you one more burst it, it'll always launch me.
Right,
so that's the difference between the
if I did this,
yes,
I'd have to do a ground combo.
Exactly.
Right, but if I did this, then I get
it increases the damage potential by a lot.
Gotcha.
So that's why another reason why one more burst is useful. You can actually cancel unsafe moves with one more burst also, in case you need to.
Right.
Like let's say you super, my super got blocked. I'll one more burst this. You can do that as well.
Okay.
So you can Zeodyne in the one more burst that as long as it's blocked.
How invincible is the one more burst?
It's also invincible as far as we know, but it has the same weaknesses. But it's difficult to actually test because we're trying to find a move that has no hit stun, so that we can, come back one more burst and block it. So we're still in the middle of that, but we're gonna find out eventually.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So I can do something like.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, so I can do it fast enough. Okay. Anyways.
So that's the major thing. One more bursts tend to increase the damage potential by a lot, and we believe they positively prorate combos, which means that instead of scaling combos, they exponentially increase the damage that the combo would do.
Do they also reduce the hit stun deterioration as well? Does it kind of like bring it back?
I can explain hit stun deterioration while we're at it, which is that every move in this game is similar to Marvel, where it adds like a specific amount of hit stun deterioration, but it's actually directly related to the current proration or the current damage scaling of the combo.
Okay.
So when the damage scales to 0 damage, the hit stun scaling is also 0. So there's no such thing as a minimum either. So for example, as soon as you do 0 damage, your combo is immediately attackable. Well, within specific rules, obviously. So because of that, like it's really easy to coordinate. So if you're like one of those really strong players, you can like watch your damage go up. You can actually calculate how much hit stun you have left. If you're like that,
well, that's pretty sick, actually.
Player.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's similar systems in BlazBlue as well. But this one also has a little helper, which is when you hit me,
it says,
there's a little bar that drains down, which tells me how much hit stun is left.
Right.
So it's actually really useful for developing and coming up with new combos.
Right.
So because of the one more burst, reverses the damage scaling for a short amount of time. You can do these outrageous combos that do like tons of damage, and I'm sure you'll see these combo videos where characters are killing, like doing 100% combos with the one more burst and 150 meter. You can definitely do that, but that's like a ton of resources, and it will rarely come up in a match because, for one, to get full meter, you'd have to beat your opponent up a lot or get beaten up a lot, or you have to gold burst, but then you wouldn't have the burst to begin with, basically. So in general, those are relatively impractical combos.
Okay.
But it could happen. Okay. You never know. But yeah, that's part of the how you can make dramatic comebacks in this game. Characters do tons of damage with meter, and if they have the burst, they can come back, with that one more burst.
Is there like a set formula to damage scaling in combos?
Yes, but we haven't figured out all the variables yet. As far as we know, it's exactly like BlazBlue, where every move has an initial value. So the initial value, let's say 50%. So all attacks from here on do 50% less damage. And it has a sub value, which is in addition to that 50%, they also do a specific percent less, which is really complicated. But you could just think of it as a specific value that it continuously scales it. So let's just say every move is 90%. Eventually, it would scale down to 1% exactly, right? Yeah. So as long as you keep hitting your opponent, it just scales farther and farther and farther. Okay. Now, obviously, the one more burst is the opposite. It scales in the opposite direction. So it would be like 110%, for example. Right. So that's basically how it works.
Okay.
So the
low block attacks also.
What is that?
If you start a combo with a low block attack, like crouch A or something, then it does less.
Right. In general, it's just a continuation of the it's a continuation of the number system. Well, let's say like the value of the crouching A attacks is really bad actually. Even though they're fast and chainable and they're good in pressure obviously, but as the trade-off, they have bad damage scaling damage. So you don't deal as much damage off of them as you would say other things. And also because damage scaling is math related, you tend to do less. Like sometimes you'll do less damage by adding more moves.
Yeah, of course.
It doesn't strictly add because it is a exponential relationship. Yeah. So that's basically how it
makes
works.
sense.
So the last of all is the defensive burst, which is we call them blue bursts usually, which is when you're getting hit or blocking, you can you're getting hit or blocking, you can burst like this.
Right. So it's a combo breaker.
Basically, yes. It has a specific amount of startup, but it is invincible up until you start falling. So it is similar to the other bursts, where if you burst badly, you can be punished for it.
Can I react to it and cancel it?
Absolutely.
Okay. Oops, wrong thing.
Cancel into Zeodime, which is probably the best thing to do.
Well, I just want to do that.
You can DP as well.
Okay.
So as long as you if you have good reflexes, you can he's DPing.
So it doesn't hit instantly?
No, it has a specific amount of startup. But if you're a good player, you'll look for when the next hit's about to hit, so they can't cancel it basically. So for example, against Narukami, as soon as I see the animation for the slide, I'm like, well, he can't cancel until the slide hits me. I'm gonna burst in between the hits.
I like it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So can I jump and block, jump cancel my move?
Yes, you can definitely do that. But
there's that delay.
Yeah, there's that delay. So usually, the most primary example is people one more cancel, then jump and block.
Okay.
Usually.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Is burst the same for everybody?
Yes.
Same frame data.
Yes, same frame data. As far as we know. As far as we know, also it's a lot of the moves in this game put you really far away from the opponent, so it's really easy to burst badly in this game, and it's kind of like a deterrent. So I do recommend that you burst specifically when you start getting used to your opponent's special attacks. Okay. Because a lot of times you can burst at the top of the screen and free punish basically. So it is something to look out for.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I do recommend bursting as soon as you see special. That's probably the best time to do it if you're a beginner.
Okay.
A lot of people on the chat wants to talk about chip damage.
Right, chip damage is related to health, obviously. A lot of things cause blue damage to you, and we call it. You're gonna have to turn off regeneration. Yeah, take HP recovery. Yeah, turn it off. So it causes blue damage to yourself, and you'll recover it over time, like Street Fighter 4 white damage. And
it's kind of almost the same behavior.
Yes. And when you take more blue damage, you don't get it back for a while either. It resets the counter basically.
Okay, but what if I hit you?
I lose it all. Yeah. So it just hit me. Yeah. So I lose all of it.
Now, do it again. So go blue, and it starts recovering and block. So once it starts recovering, and then I make you block, does it stop?
No.
Okay. It does.
It does. So.
Yeah. Okay, so it's just like Street Fighter 4.
Right.
It's just like it then.
And because some attacks take it, special cancels take it. Super cancels do take them. A lot of the reversals do as well. So a lot of times it's a little bit scary to actually do this because it increases the risk on your part because I'm DPing on wake up, but I also take extra damage if it fails.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. Now, one last thing I want to talk about really quick. Oh, so when you take chip damage, is it blue damage or is it regular damage?
It is blue damage. So,
really?
For example, block my screw attack.
Okay.
You took a little bit of blue damage.
So all chip damage is recoverable.
That's right.
And you actually cannot die from chip damage in this game.
Oh, really?
So even if you go down to a pixel, no chip damage can kill you.
Huh. So I can just block a super and be like, yo, you're not killing me.
Does that mean that you can't take blue damage at 0 life or 1 life?
Pretty much. You can't kill yourself.
Okay, I was going to say, you can't do the Dragon Punch thing and die.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Well, can you even Dragon Punch if
Yes, you can. So if you're at 0 health, you can do anything that takes life. It just won't, take it because you haven't
Oh, interesting. So it's not even just like a resource. You can't. It's not they're going to prevent you from doing it.
Exactly.
Okay, so the one last thing I do want to talk about then is Perfect Guard. Now, in Guilty Gear Blaze Blue, there was Guilty Gear, we called it green block.
Yes,
right?
green block, faultless defense, etc.
Right, faultless defense.
Yes.
Where if you hold back and held 2 buttons, you can air block moves that aren't air blockable. You don't take chip damage. The pushback is increased. None of that in this game.
There's no barrier or faultless defense system in this game at all.
Okay.
So they've, I think what they're trying to do is simplify it because barriering is not very intuitive. You know? It's like, well, I have to think about my meters and you know, I just want to block better, kind of thing.
Okay.
So they did leave in instant block, which is I guess they call it just guard and all these other things.
Because it's just like just defending, right?
Is it just like that?
It's not. Well, how it works is when you successfully instant block an attack, you get about 2 meter, and you also get.
You get 2 meters?
Yes, you get meter for instant blocking.
Wait, so, you get 2?
Oh, you mean 2 meters?
Two, like 2 as the number.
Like from 98 to 100.
Okay. I was thinking like
not 2 sections.
Yeah, I was about to say, whoa.
Yeah, you also get meter for blocking a base meter for blocking the attack as well. So we think it's 2. We're still trying to figure it out, but you get 2 meter for instant blocking on top of that. So it's if you're good at defense, obviously you'll instant block on attacks. You'll get more options because you have more meter, and then you'll also
come over here try to do.
I'll do the auto combo.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Now, so here's a question. I'm stuck in block stun. Can I instant guard the second one?
Yes. You can. In general, I'll do this as fast as possible. Like when you are in block stun, you don't need block stun, so you can't unblock in this game.
Okay, so
it's
there is. So
there's no gap.
Absolute guard in this game, right?
So you can't unblock basically.
But does that mean that you cannot then do instant blocking after?
But however, you can because you just input neutral and then go back to 4 basically.
Okay.
Oh, there it was. So in other words, it's actually pretty dangerous to do like a long chain on a block character because they could kind of mash it and not be punished, right?
It really depends because what'll happen is people will start backdashing on accident, or people just delay slightly, and then if I mess up the timing just a tiny bit, they might miss it and they'll leave instant guard kind of thing. The other benefit to it is that you will decrease the amount of blocks in your in by 2 frames.
Okay.
So it will make things that were previously unpunishable punishable. It'll let you get out of things easier, for example. So
is that commonly useful? 2 frames is not huge.
2 frames can create gaps where there were previously not gaps. So for example, a really big example is Aegis, where she has like an instant overhead off of her blocked 5B. But if you instant block the 5B, you can DP there. And because it's difficult to confirm that instant overhead, you can't go like, well, he blocked the 5B, I confirmed that he blocked it, I'm gonna do the overhead now. You don't have the time to do that to make it airtight. Because of that, if you instant block that 5B, you could DP there, they wouldn't be able to react to it, and then they'll get caught by the DP.
I like it. Okay.
So you can force gaps that were there previously not gaps.
Right.
Some moves are only minorly minus, so it does give you like it helps you punish them.
A little bit more, yeah.
Some moves are actually barely plus. So if, for example, like think like Balrog in Street Fighter 4, where he has that like standing jab pressure, which is like, it's plus. So you can't really do anything if he keeps walking towards you, and you can't. But then in this game, you could instant block one of the jabs, decrease the amount of frame advantage, and then mash back.
It's your turn, basically.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, I just noticed that if you super jump while running, you super jump farther.
Yeah, in general, air movement keeps like momentum.
Right, and I also notice if I skid like that and super jump there straight up. See how he keeps moving forward a little?
Like, momentum is kind of physics-based in this game, so there's no set rules for it. There's really no set rules for it. Like, there's this weird move that I guess can do where she spins around in like a cartwheel, and depending on how you install that move with mobility, she can do really weird stuff. Like, she'll fly straight up, and you'll be like, what use is that?
That's pretty cool.
But it's all momentum-based.
Okay, cool.
So, I believe it's intuitive, but there are some things that stop your momentum, so that can be kind of weird.
Okay.
Are there any other systems?
We actually answered most of the questions that were here for like basics and combo systems.
Let's go ahead and talk about one last thing I do want to talk about is the idea of counter hits and fatal counters.
Oh yeah, that's
right. Okay.
So in this game, everyone has a DP, which is like, well, that sounds really annoying because everyone can reversal out of my stuff, right?
Are you talking about this move here?
Yeah. Everyone has something that's invincible. So I have not that one. I have this move where it's a counter. So everyone has a counter or DP or auto guard move of some kind. So they can, like, everyone has some kind of reversal, basically. Because of this, it's like, well, how am I supposed to conduct an offense if I have to be afraid of everyone? Everyone has these options, right? The two things that are important is that, first of all, DP punishes do insane damage in this game. Because of either fatal counters or just counter hits in general.
Okay.
So the general game flow is, DPing is great. It'll get you out of whatever you need to get out of. However, if you get punished for it, you could lose up to 60% of your health.
So if I do this and you hit me afterwards, do you get a counter hit or something like that?
Yes, I do.
Oh, wow. So
counter hits automatically do a base 10% boost.
Okay.
On top of that, they also give you extra hit properties. So for example, like some moves may float or something like that.
Right,
so go ahead and like mash buttons or whatever. I'll do the. I'll try to do the screw to beat it, but the screw normally doesn't have enough block stun. Normally, it does not have enough hit stun to like punish.
Right.
But during counter hit, you can.
Oh, okay. So even if one of the earlier hits counter hits, you can land in.
Theoretically,
Okay.
but basically the general idea is that if you get hit out of your DP
Right.
or any other move, you will probably take more damage than you have already taken.
Okay.
And on top of this, there's a specific mechanic called fatal counters, which is like a super like when you get hit by this counter hit, you can expect to take tons of damage because what happens is every move's hit stun gets increased by 2 frames, so you can do like normally impossible combos. On top of that, they tend to be really good starters. So a lot of characters, like Kanji for example, he has to guess against his opponent's weight because like, oh, I might DP, I want to command throw him, but I don't know. But if he calls out that DP, he could do up to 60 to 80%, in one go, pretty much.
So for example, are there just certain moves that will cause fatal counters?
Yes, the move just has specific properties. For example, for Teddy, his TV summon causes a fatal counter hit when it hits. So just go ahead and DP. So it causes a fatal counter.
Oh, sick.
And it causes every other move in that combo specifically to have 2 more frames of hit stun.
Do these TVs do anything afterward?
Okay, well it's character specific obviously, but you can after you summon the TV, you can teleport inside of it. So depending on the input, you fly out of the TV.
Oh,
Yeah. You can also fly out of the middle one with the SB one, and even if it's behind them, you can fly out behind them. And it's actually really strong.
Well,
part of the spacing
so
game.
what's my fatal counter move?
His is it's that diving lunge attack thing.
This
that
one
one,
right there,
yeah.
right?
His fatal counters are actually not super useful because they're actually relatively slow. But as a Punisher, he still does a lot of damage because his attacks do gain additional properties, like they ground bounce or whatever.
Okay.
So for example, or they just cause lots more hit stun. But overall, counter hits and fatal counter hits, in terms of game flow, when you take those serious risks, you are literally taking serious risks because you take way more damage.
So
from
if
the
I
game.
do this thing like this and I get the fatal counter hit at the end of it,
Right, you do get the extra 2 frames. So you can also fatal count in the middle of combos depending on what type you're playing.
so if I get this, then if I juggle, then everything is more
Yes.
damage afterwards. Okay,
Yes.
okay,
Okay.
gotcha.
all right.
So, like, similarly, when you fatal count upwards, you do get access to certain impossible combos.
That's pretty
because
cool.
of that.
Okay.
So that's pretty much the general game flow. Like, you play a footsie game with your movement. If you take risks by attacking or DPing, the punish hurts a lot. And you kind of normalize this out with, like, your resources. So, for example, your risk-reward game gets better or worse depending on what kind of resources you have, your burst, your meter, your persona cards, etc.
Now, why does the characters flash in the top corner?
That
again?
means you can instant kill.
Okay, so
And
that just
that's
basically
only the
means you're
last
one
round.
round away from winning. Okay.
And you have 100 meters.
So I want to go into the status effects like more when we do individual characters.
Yeah,
but I
for
think
sure.
people just want us to like mention them real fast.
Okay.
Everybody just keeps yelling about it. So.
All right, so I have one of each. So go ahead.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Oh.
I do. So almost one of each, I believe. I think I'm missing charm. So this is shock. When you're hit by it, you cannot. We have a manual, which is all of them.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
So,
So,
shock.
Shock, you cannot normal move.
You're unable to move.
Yeah, you can't walk, jump, super jump, air dash, back dash, forward dash. You can still quick escape. You can still short hop.
Right.
You can still do moves that move you. For example, I can still do this corkscrew attack
Right,
even though
right,
I'm paralyzed
Right.
Okay.
or shocked, etc. But this limits your normal movement.
Okay.
Okay.
Next is poison.
poison?
It's just not that one. This one. You just lose health over time.
Oh, hey, turn off your regeneration.
Poison in this game is actually pretty weak, but it's because in general, when you land poison, sometimes you can combo while poison is ticking away. Also, so it adds up. It just gives you extra.
So
damage
here's a
all the
question: if I'm poisoned and I hit you, do I recover from poison?
time. Most status effects go away when you hit.
Okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
include shock also goes away when you hit them. Some of them do not.
Okay. So charm is.
Charm is one that I don't have, but when you inflict charm on your opponent, you slowly drain their meter. So their meter ticks down, your meter ticks up.
Oh, it actually gives it
Oh,
to
it
you.
drains it.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
wow.
So
And that one you can also restore by hitting them. Mitsuru has that. So does Elizabeth.
fear.
Fear is a really special one, which is really specific to this game. We go ahead and hold still for a second.
Oh.
When you hit with this move, you're in fear state. When you're in fear state, you can't tech throws. All throws automatically fatal counter you. And
Oh,
every hit also fatal counters you also. So it's in this state where you're like, oh my god, any hit will do insane damage to me.
That's pretty crazy, actually, right?
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. So you can do like, because of that, it greatly increases the risk reward for the person who is not afraid, basically.
Jeez, is that the same thing as when you run away and the?
I believe the ratios are different, you do not automatically get fatal countered, and you can't automatically unthrow break, but you know it is similar.
So panic,
it reverses left-right controls. So
yeah, dude. So it's jamming bomb.
Yeah. So
but jamming bomb does up and down.
Jamming bomb also does up and down, but
that's true.
In this one it's only left and right. At first I thought it was also up and down, so I got really confused. But
you were screwing yourself up. That's awesome.
But then because it's only left and right. So
I was watching someone play like one player mode, and the person was talking to him was like, "Your left and right are reversed." So I was like, "Oh, up and down now." Okay.
Now is it just movement left and right, or is it
everything commands also?
Okay.
So.
Okay. And then rage.
Rage you can't block. You can't block, but you do more damage. However, this state doesn't go away when you hit the opponent, probably for obvious reasons.
Right.
So you can actually do a better combo.
Right.
Okay. They're gonna hit me with C again. Yeah, it's about 15% more damage.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. And these are cool. These are like Final Fantasy spells. It's just really cool. There's mute.
Yeah. So when you're mute, it's as if your persona broken. You can't burst. You can't use any persona attacks.
Wow.
So.
Dang, that's really good.
Okay. It is strong. Naruto, I believe, is like the main character that really mutes people.
Okay.
She has a super that mutes you, and you don't even see that very much these days either. But
So what's freeze?
Freeze is kind of like that annoying thing in BlazBlue Calamity Trigger, where you get frozen by Jin and you have to like mash out of it.
Right.
Okay.
So it's exactly the same as standing hit stun though. So when you fall into the floor when frozen, you are standing again when you recover. And on top of this, you can still be comboed because it is standing hit stun.
Right.
And the optimal way to shake out is actually 6 left and right inputs, is what we think. So when you input left and right 6 times, you can just hold back and you'll block when you recover out of the freeze.
You mean like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6?
Yes, exactly that. We actually think it's less. And that might actually be 4 or 5, but in general we do 6 and then return to blocking.
Okay.
That's what we decided to do.
Got it.
That's actually really good to know. Okay.
Alright.
So those are the status effects.
Alright, so anything else on the basic side of things?
You know what? We're gonna get to them when we go through characters.
Alright,
I'm sure
cool.
that's gonna happen. So let's talk about the characters because I really want to get to that point.
Alright,
right now,
so then,
I know we've been doing this for 2.5 hours already. So
right. Okay, so then let's take a break, or actually, I guess end level first
yeah,
attack.
and then we'll switch to level 3 focus.
Sounds good.
All right, cool. Stick around, guys. We aren't going away. I'm gonna stop the stream, restart it, also just to make sure that we freshen up the buffers and everything like that. Okay.
Yep. See you in a bit.